Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now welcome to another episode of Iron to Diamond. Here's the loading screen, feel free to pause it if you'd like. We're against a Platinum 1 Yorick that doesn't really play Yorick, but is a top lane main. We're playing Darius. There is some duos, so the enemy team has got 2 duos, we've got 1 duo. It is worth noting the enemy duo of Zillion and Mundo. Remember that they're duo and that should make sense a bit later. But we're doing a POV commentary. I recorded 2 games last night. And both, you know, good enough to be videos. This one is going to kind of show you the quality of top lane right now and why it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit rough when it comes to the meta right now. So I will say, weirdly, unfortunately, there has been some freezing going on with the footage. So hopefully it's not too bad. I don't know what's happening. So yeah. So you, as always in a POV commentary, these are when I'm streaming, but without mic, without camera, and I'm just playing the game. I still get surprised I get 200 live viewers when I'm doing that, which if you are one of those people, thank you very much. So I am typing in the bottom left. You will see me type occasionally there, basically my thoughts while I'm playing the game right now. Furthermore, if I think I do, we should put on the input that you guys will be able to see my keyboard momentarily. I like doing that in POV commentary, so you get at least while I'm not playing live while I'm doing the commentary, you can see what I'm doing in the game when I play it. So Darius, I will also mention that this is going to be a giveaway episode to Darius, and this is going to be the last chance you guys have to win the codes for High Noon Darius. All you've got to do is subscribe, like, comment down below, pretty much anything that you want. Just make sure you include your region. I can give North America away and EU away, basically. So there's the input down there, so you can see at least what my keybind entries are. Weirdly, getting a gank potentially straight away from the Nocturne. So because of this, normally I'd go Q if I'm not fighting at level 1. I'm going to go W because of the slow. Yorick flashes away. Obviously the fear comes in and, you know, okay gank. I kind of felt like we might have been able to kill him, though, if we both flashed. But it would have required Nocturne to flash because I was very close to my passive. So if we both flashed, which with Yorick flashing so early, maybe we should have done that. And you can see I'm a bit confused going, that was weird, because that doesn't normally happen in current meta, level 2 gank top lane. Because why won't that really happen? Especially with not getting first blood, that's going to cost the Nocturne a lot in pressure. You know, yes, it's a Mundo who's not really built for ganking. It's inherent pressure that we're now missing, technically, that, you know, his blue could now be stolen because Yorick, Mundo, sorry, knows he's not there. Now, obviously, the advantage that we have in top lane is I now know this dude doesn't have flash. So we can bully him a little bit here or there. But from my memory, what I do this game is I play smart. Now, you know, the video title, I'm thinking one of 2 ways at the moment. It's either like, you know, playing smart on Darius. It's a title that I do believe we do this game. Or it's, you know, the effect of top lane in Season 9. One of the 2, you'll see why both of them, I guess, could work, and I've got to decide which one I'm going to go with. But yeah, right, so I think the reason why I'm pushing, like we were kind of freezing out, but then I go for a push. I think I want an early base from memory. Again, I played these games last night, but I'm always playing them really late at night, so I don't always remember what happens, which is a good and a bad thing. It's kind of like a fresh commentary in my own way. We'll also announce, by the way, again, I don't want to kind of, you know, say it a lot. I'm just very proud. Obviously, G2, most of everyone who cares will know by now, have made it to the World Final. An ex-teammate of mine, friend of mine, Duffman, is the head analyst. Meanwhile, Yorick's going for an engage, which was questionable. And I'm like, is Mundo here? So he does get like a bunch of damage on me. I was thinking about going for it and boom, Mundo's here. So I'm like, okay, I'm dead. So I just decided to go for it and I do end up getting first blood kill and Mundo gets nothing. Yes, Yorick gets a kill, but that is definitely worth it. I get a kill where I was just going to die. But as I mentioned, Duffman, ex-teammate of mine, good friend of mine, you know, played with him for, you know, a year or 2. He's the head analyst of G2. They're the world final team. Said to him that, you know, hey, we need to catch up after Worlds. He said, definitely. When we are catching up, I am going to mention to him if it's okay if we could do kind of like a podcasty thing with him, just chat for an hour or so about what it's like being an analyst and all that stuff. So if you have any questions, I guess that could be the entry as well for the High Noon giveaway. If you've got any questions that you're burning to know for when, you know, one of the world's best league analysts, throw them in the comments. And again, it doesn't have to be just analyst stuff. I'm sure if you said, what is it like being in a gaming house? Because I don't know if he lives in the gaming house or not, but you know, any question in terms of pro play, he's gonna know. You know, he's in that world completely. Now, first item for Yorick, by the way, very weird, and it does kind of show where the Yorick mentally is right now. He's bought the, again, I don't know if it's the replay freezing for me or if that's the footage. If it is freezing, by the way, it's freezing for me too. I'll try and fix it, but I don't know really why it's doing it. Mundo double kill, probably going to be a triple kill. I was looking there, got obviously hit by the E, and yeah, but all three of them die, which is a bit rough. Nocturne did a flash up, didn't use it, and got killed. But yeah, his mental state, the Yorick, is, you know, survive. He's bought a Raptor Cloak, I think it's called, first. That obviously is armor intensive. It's what Zarot Portal builds out of. You normally don't buy that as your first item. That kind of is a bit telling that he's a bit nervous. But what that could do is potentially save him from a kill. So again, because I know this Yorick is a self-caster, that he casts the barrier on himself, the circle on himself, all you do, a little bit of a trade, and then back out. So you don't get caught in the circle, you do the damage, you do the trade, and then voila. Now, I am being a bit more proactive of, like, doing a trade, looking for a plant. Doing a trade, looking for a plant. That is something that I potentially have never really done before. It's something that I want to do more of. I am pinging, yo, I can come mid if this is on. Looking for the Zillion, and that to me is a bit telling that that potentially was warded in that bush, because he sped up as I was literally in the bush. And there's the plant that I was looking for, does spawn on the way back. And yeah, I don't need it for health, but it's always worth taking them. 1 mana, but secondly, it's a denial. It's always a good thing to deny them, because like the enemy jungler hasn't gone back for ages, for example, and that plant can make them not go back and farm more. You taking it can be the difference of them having to go back or not. So that's why you should look for them whenever they are available. Again, I'm still not a massive fan of plants. I don't think I'm ever going to be. I don't know. To me, I've never clicked to them that well. Obviously, they're in the game. There's nothing I can do about it. So, you know, I've once had that comment going, oh, if you hate it, why do you use them? Bit of a weird comment, because obviously if they're in the game and they're an advantage, you're going to use them. I just personally don't like them. I find them a little bit gimmicky, but that's just me. I think everybody by now knows that I like more basic, straightforward League of Legends. I don't like cheese picks. I don't like, you know, mages bot lane. I like, you know, my AD carry, my top lane. I like kind of straightforward. And, you know, I like mechanical things, obviously, but I don't know. I think it just comes with playing the game for 10 years, potentially. I don't know. I'd have to have a little bit of a survey for those that have played for 10 years. Do they like all the gimmicky stuff or not? It would be interesting. Anyway, you can see what I'm doing right now, and a lot of people are going to go, what? Yeah, I'm freezing. So this is where I mentioned, you know, hey, Huzzy, play smart. We are freezing a little bit. He does go for an ultimate, the Yorick, which is normal. I know a lot of people still get freaked out, like, why is he ulting? So he ulted there to break the freeze, so 100% break the freeze. But also, Yorick's ultimate obviously got changed. It is now a permanent pet until death. So either the pet dies, or I think if Yorick dies, the pet will, you know, despawn. But it's very easy as a Yorick, in a way, to hold the pet for ages. Now, if anybody caught a glimpse of the tab, when we press tab and look at the score and everything, look at the farm difference. We are, yes, nearly double farm right now of this Yorick at nearly 8.5 minutes into the game. So controlling top lane, playing it very smart. Obviously, the early gank from the Nocturne helped. But again, you can easily throw things if you play bad. So we've continued controlling the lane, and it's gone pretty good. Meanwhile, gank from bot lane's coming in. Also, I forgot to mention, excuse my wet hair, just came out the shower, and this is the best time to do this recording, really. So yeah. Right, so they are doing a bit of good stuff in bot lane finally, which is nice. They do get a shutdown on the Mundo, and unfortunately Leona gets it. We do have an Ashe, by the way, which, you know, what do I think of Ashe? I'm not a massive fan of Ashe. I think people know that, in the way that she's good, her damage output's lovely, but meanwhile I'm going to try and kill his pet while I can, because, you know, he kind of left it a bit free. The negative, I think, of Ashe is her mobility compared to other AD carries. And, you know, I can't remember, is it Caitlyn? Yeah, Caitlyn on the enemy team, a lot of people say, oh, she has a similar thing. Yeah, you know, Caitlyn technically has more because she's got her E, which is a dash away, or a whatever, you want, jump back. But it's more that Ashe has less range than a Caitlyn, everything. So if it goes bad, it's going to go bad for an Ashe more than it is a Caitlyn. Or Caitlyn can get damage down easier than an Ashe. Ashe has to risk positioning more than a Caitlyn does. Or Ashe has to risk positioning more than a a Jinx with higher range does, example. So that's, I'd say, the problem with Ashe. When it goes well, it goes really well, but it also can go very bad. If there's a pick that can get on top of an Ashe, she can't get away. She has no mobility, and also she does have to generally risk her own life when she's attacking things because of how low her range is. So yeah, that's the problem with Ashe, what I'd say. And again, that's what makes her a pretty terrible blind pick when it comes to AD carrying. So again, not pushing automatically, doing a bit of freezing, because I did kind of like, being more or less, nearly double farm to the Yorick is kind of funny at this point. Obviously, that won't last throughout the game for a couple reasons. One, I generally, as a Darius, am a team fighting top laner. Yorick is a split pusher, so he might split push while I look to roam and team fight. And also, he'll buy a Zarot portal. I won't, so he'll have a Zarot portal farming for him if, whenever he's not in lane. So I base, by the way, on purpose there to make it so the lane doesn't reset. I want it still to be kind of on my side. We do also base at a good time because Mundo was looking to come top lane. We go back. Now, the thought process here, and this is something that I will say I potentially lived to regret for the rest of the game. I opt for Triforce this game for the reason of I'm doing really well into this Yorick. Maybe I need to try and carry. My team isn't doing too hot. So yeah, maybe try to carry, try to get a bunch of kills. Let's go Triforce, because obviously that's a lot more carry orientated, snowball orientated. The problem that I kind of didn't really think about was mid to late game. One, Yorick is obviously going to be building a lot of armor. He's already got a lot of armor. And two, Dr. Mundo. So Dr. Mundo, obviously one of the tankiest things in League of Legends. And like I mentioned earlier, if you guys paid attention to what I said about the duo, meanwhile, going to go for a flash aggressive play. He flashes right away. I'm continuing, by the way. Don't land the Q, which is a bit meh. Going to go for one more auto attack. I survive. And I'm like, okay, he might be dead. Unfortunately, I remember this, not dead. And that's due to how much armor he has. He already has Ninja Tabby and the Raptor Cloak. If he was building Triforce right now, he'd be 100% dead. But also why I didn't get that kill was the Q that I missed. If I hit the Q, obviously, he'd be 100% dead. I think I was slowed by his E at that point under tower. So unfortunately we don't get it, but it is a good sign. I am diving a Yorick and nearly killing him. That is something that normally doesn't really happen. But I'm just saying in the bottom left there, so much early armor, which, yeah, is a bit weird. And like I mentioned earlier, that shows the mind space of the Yorick isn't like, oh, kill Darius. He's right now, all he's thinking of is survive Darius. And he did, so fair play, it works. And, the matchup, I've played this matchup in both ways. I've played Darius versus Yorick, and I've played Yorick versus Darius. And generally, Yorick does well against Darius in a 1v1 later in the game. So he might be thinking, oh, this is kind of a ticking time bomb. I will eventually do well versus this Darius. And when I say do well, by the way, holding a Darius in top lane by himself when Darius wants to join a team fight, for example, is doing well against Darius. Not dying to a Darius and denying him getting involved in team fights to get his reset and his ultimate is doing well. Meanwhile, they do get a pick on the enemy AD carry, which is, a bit weird. Oh, do they not? Maybe they don't, because Alistair should... Oh, no, they don't. They don't get the kill. Going to get my first plate, which is a bit weird by how much domination we've had in the lane. That's my first plate, but it does make sense. The reason why that's only our first plate is because what have we been doing this game? We've been freezing. We haven't been mega pushing like I normally am doing, and that's the negative of freezing in lane phase, is the gold production, obviously, from plates you're not really going to get. Meanwhile, you can start to already see Yorick is now starting to look a bit aggressive. He probably can't, like, if he were to go all in on me right now, it's like, oh, he got you pretty low there. Yeah, but if he stayed in melee range and everything, you have to remember when Darius' passive is online and his ultimate's ready to go and everything, you're not safe when you're at like 500 health. So he was actually closing into that point before he obviously healed a little bit. So yeah, like if he stayed for the all-in, I would have won. He actually did a really good thing at backing out at the right time. And you can see his healing is really crazy. So I'm saying, yeah, it's a weird build. He's opted for cooldown reduction, attack speed. Again, I've never seen a Yorick build this way. Now, I do know there are Yorick mains that exist that they find people that build Zrot Portal cringy. I've never understood people that are like that because it's a fantastic item, and generally the people like that, like, I don't know, probably silver Yorick people, it's a fantastic item on Yorick when you're actually doing a Yorick thing. I think the differentiation if people like it or not Get him, get a tower damage there. By the way, if some people in the Twitch chat were like, why didn't Mundo go for that? Mundo would have died if he went for that. I might have died, but I think Mundo would have died as well, with the combination between the two of us. But yeah, like I think the differentiation when it comes to Zrot Portal and Yorick's, the Yorick's that go for kills don't like Zrot Portal, but then the good Yorick's that, you know, kills, I don't care about kills on Yorick. If I get them, cool, but my job isn't killing people. My job is side lane pressure, like, and complete tower domination. That's how I play him and how a lot of Yorick play people. Then Zrot Portal is like your best friend. It's really good. So yeah, that's just worth noting. And again, there's just differentiations with builds, even within its own community. I'm sure the Yorick community as a whole has an indifference between if it's good or bad. I am definitely on the side, and I've played Yorick. I was playing Yorick in Master earlier this season. It's really good, and I would say pretty much needed in most games that you're playing Yorick. So I'm going to try and go for a little bit of a kill on him. Managed to hit the E, but obviously he is trying to run away. Unfortunately, just annoying timing, but I don't know, by the way, why he came back. Kills potentially on. Go for it. You can see very close to death, but once again, if I'm not mistaken, he ain't dead. So that's the second time in a row that he survived with, I want to say, less than 50 health. And why? Because of the early armor. The Raptor Ninja Tabby early is just such a denial of my damage. So it's a lesson right now. And what this is a lesson of is something that I've been preaching for ages. Of, you know, if you're against something that beats you in the early game, what you should be focusing on is not dying and, you know, not feeding. So, like I said for ages, even though, yes, Pantheon as a pick has become more respected for the past few weeks and months, not for the reasons that a lot of people think. It's actually more for his pick potential and his E more than his actual early game damage. But when you're playing against a Renekton early game or a Pantheon early game, I've said for ages, in theory, you just play something to outscale and don't die early. And this is exactly what is happening in this game. If this Yorick so far, if he built that, you know, he built Sheen instead of Raptor Cloak and he went for damage, he would have died at least twice, maybe even more by now. Because of the inherent squishiness that you would have had. And then he would be risking a Darius snowballing. Instead, he's behind a lot on farm, but he is not allowing snowball to occur. So that is kind of the lesson of this game so far as a top lane. It's frustrating because obviously I'm the top laner that's being annoyed. I should be snowballing. I'm not. It's very close. But yeah, we're 27 farm up. Really nice lead. But unfortunately, we can't snowball because he's playing smart. So I'm playing smart on Darius. I'm not doing anything wrong. We've frozen lane, got ahead quite a lot. We're nearly killing him a lot, but he's built tank and he's denying me the possibility of farming. So that's why I said, and why, you know, the era of early game champions to me is not really a thing in League of Legends, or it shouldn't be, because if you're playing smart as a good top lane, a good whatever, you should never allow an early game champion to snowball, because just build tanky and just farm, outscale. Don't care if you get behind and farm early. If that person that is supposed to beat you early, that you potentially outscale, which, yeah, arguably Yorick does outscale Darius a little bit, then, you know, that's huge. So I go for a teleport here. If you're wondering, meanwhile, I don't get that. If you're wondering why, and again, I go for a flash, and unfortunately the damage comes out, I don't get a kill. Why did I go for that teleport? Some people maybe, you know, asking, because, yeah, my team won that. Because I'm not achieving anything in top lane, if I'm honest. I'm not killing him. I'm trying to, like, 100% try to snowball from other places. So, yeah, maybe that wasn't going to be a 100% win for my team, but, you know, it probably was. But that's why the teleport happened. That's why I was like, I'm going bot lane right now. It's because I'm, if I'm honest, a little bit frustrated of, I should be really ahead of this Yorick, but I'm not. So I'm going to just start trying to make global plays happen to try and get the game snowballing in general. So we're doing Rift, which is a nice little thing to take. I am going to go for this. And, you know, it's questionable doing this. We are going to turn on him. Now, what I didn't notice right now, I did not notice, do get one kill, I did not notice that Nocturne, if I'm completely honest, did not notice he went back for the Rift Herald. So I'm like, oh, let's fight, let's do it, baby. He went back for the Rift Herald, and now we're outnumbered, and now only Nocturne is making his way. Now, I'm not sure, because the Rift Herald died like 15 seconds ago, 20 seconds, 10 seconds ago. I don't know what delayed him after that. I don't know if he did Scuttle Crab or something, but there was a delay of him killing it and then coming to us. So I'm not, again, maybe Scuttle Crab, because that health, it's just maybe been spawned. If that was the case, I'd say he shouldn't have I think he should have come to us, personally. But yeah, that was, I guess, too deep from me. But you can definitely see my desperation to try and make things happen. Now, why am I desperate to make things happen? Comp. So I've said for ages, the one thing in League of Legends you can't argue with is team comp advantages. Now, team comp advantages aren't everything. They're not going to 100% you win you games, because players are honestly in solo queue more important. In pro play, comps are obviously more important because the players are so good. But in solo queue, yeah, comps are important, but players, you could have that one guy that should be winning his matchup, but somehow is feeding, right? We've all been there. It's like, dude, you're playing a counter of that thing because 0-5. How does that make sense? Because players in solo queue are a bit weird. But in this game, again, the higher rating you go, and this game, yeah, is only like a Diamond 4 MMR game, but the higher rating you go, the more comps matter, because it's getting closer to that, the players are good, so the comp matters a lot. The enemy comp is stupidly scary when it comes to late game for a couple reasons. One, in top lane, they have the Yorick pressure versus Darius. That's 1. 2, meanwhile, that Ash Arrow was really weird. I don't know what, again, she just Ash Arrowed, by the way, if you missed it. There was no engage, that was never going to happen. She just wastes her Ash Arrow, so that's a bit like, oh. So that's 1. Top lane, I get outscaled. 2, jungle. Mundo is quite scary when it comes to tankiness. Like, the question is, do we have something that can kill Mundo? The answer is maybe no. Meanwhile, teamfight's broken out. Nearly got 1 kill. Mundo getting focused. Good Mal's our ultimate. I do think he's the right target to focus at the moment. Caitlyn getting stuck in the pit. I don't kill her with my axe, unfortunately. Will finish her in the end. And then I decide just to start the dragon because I'm not going to get over there in time. So that's a good teamfight. Mid lane, however, so when we're talking about the combination with Mundo, remember, like I said earlier, there is a reason to point out there is a duo between Zilean and Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo, as I mentioned at the beginning of the game, I think, is one of the tankiest things in League of Legends. It takes a lot to kill him. Like in that team fight just there, we used Malzahar ultimate. We used like a couple things to kill him, right? Think of the combination of, oh my god, we're having to kill the Mundo, it's taking him forever, and then he gets Zilean ulted. That's a scary combo, and that does exist this game. Furthermore, when you look at the AD carries, while we get Baron, their AD carry, Caitlyn, I much prefer in late game to our Ashe, because Ashe, like I mentioned earlier, her weakness is low range, low mobility. Can we stop an Alistar getting, can we stop the Alistar engaging on the Ashe? Can we stop a Dr. Mundo getting to? Not really. She has no mobility to get away also. So that's the inherent issue of why I'm a little bit worried about this game. And that's why I was like, oh, we need to make things happen now. And unfortunately, so far, yeah, we just got a Baron. But I'm a bit worried at this point. And again, I played this last night. So it is, part of the stuff I don't remember. But some of the stuff I do. I do remember being a little bit worried about the late game here. So I am going to go for this guy. Because, he's alone. And I still feel strong. And boom. Instant teleport coming from Zilean, that would be. And I'm like, okay. Now, what that should do, and unfortunately, I'd say a small mistake there from Nocturne, he cast the Rift Herald to go bot lane when we just got a good play for, and my team was already mid. Now, it won't be bad if my team right now was rotating to bot lane together, completely fine. But as you can see, it's delayed. My Leona and Malzahar was standing in mid forever, so unfortunately the Mundo lives when that could have been a pick. And now we should rotate over to the Rift Herald, but now we're in a bit of a predicament that we're completely split. So you can see 2 people are in the jungle because they were late, 2 people are in bot lane, and it's like, right, let's go for a fight. So I am thinking we should fight this. Alistar actually saves me from getting Zilean stunned. Gonna now look for the fight here. We do go for the Caitlyn. She does get Zilean ulted. I do flash. She will go down, though, any second. Boom. Again, don't get my execute. Not landing that today, unfortunately. But overall advantage, but just a bit sloppy. Again, I'm talking here, by the way, about min-maxing. Like, what would be the ultimate thing in that situation? That's what I'm talking about. But it's not always needed for solo queue. So we have momentum right now. They are getting a little bit poked out. Don't underestimate Zillion damage. I think a lot of people do. He's that weird pick. Meanwhile, he does get killed by Malzahar, by the way. He didn't notice. I think it was either the dot or even the little minions killed him, which is pretty good. So, you know, I was thinking, if you're wondering why did I go back, I went back at that point because I had teleport coming up, so I could go back and teleport in if they needed me. But while, like, nothing bad's going on, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just go mid lane. So separate the pressure. Alistair, weird Hex Flash. And look at that. That was really laggy. My team has to be careful, though, over what I'd say overstaying. We're now a little bit split. The enemy team obviously would be what I would call fresh. They're all near their base. They probably just want to go back. We've been, you know, there's probably a bunch of gold being held. Alistair, nice engaged. Nice cage by Yorick. And we're getting caught a bit. Nocturne will go down. This should give ample opportunity for my team and bot side, though, to maybe open up the base, which they do. Yorick weirdly still thinks he can fight me, which he definitely can't. So you can see the advantage in the 1v1 is still very much on Darius's favour. My ultimate was just about to come up. We would have killed him. But now my team did overstay. So because the Nocturne died, the pressure went away. My team should have just left, where they didn't, unfortunately, and that does lead them to die. Now, we did open the base, though, so that's a good thing. But like I mentioned, I don't really want this game to go ultra late game, you know. The Caitlyn is doing fine, not amazing, but she'll get stronger. The Mundo is getting pretty damn tanky and only going to get tankier. And you can see I've got an anti-healing item, by the way. That's just inherently with their comp. Yorick heals, Mundo heals, Alistair heals. So a lot of people heal. I should have ulted that, I think. And I will get killed here, unfortunately. Again, zillion damage. But if they die for my death, not too bad. But they won't. They do need to run away. Malzahar overstays a bit and I think does get himself caught. But maybe also gets the kill. Maybe. Maybe not. But yeah, I pointed out there in the bottom left. The enemy team, another thing that I haven't said, is they have so much CC. So they've got Mundo slows. They've got Yorick Cage and his E's are slow. They've got an Alistair, which is obviously a CC cow. They've got Caitlyn Traps. They've got Caitlyn E slow. They've got Zillion slow. They've got Zillion stun. They have so much CC. And even though I love Darius, what is Darius's main disadvantage? He's a running champion. You know, I generally don't like running champions, but Darius has a mechanic to obviously bring people to him, his E. But yeah, like the disadvantage of running champions is CC. You know, it's not like you're ranged and you can stay away from people to do your damage. You have to be at people to do your damage. So this game, again, a little bit rough for Darius. We did very well in lane phase, even though it doesn't look like it, because Yorick is now caught up in farm. Again, like we mentioned, he's got the Zrot portal, so he can continue to farm in side lanes. So it's that annoying situation of we didn't snowball when we should have or could have. And why didn't we? Again, give props to the Yorick. He built tank, annoyingly, and he didn't allow me to snowball, which is exactly what he needed to do. Because, you know, we nearly killed him twice. If he built squishier, he would have died in both of those situations. And if he was squishier, obviously I would have been looking to play more aggressive to kill him a lot more. Now, in the 1v1, I still, by the way, right now, feel I have the strength in the 1v1. So if he actually were to fight me, go all in, it's a pure 1v1. Yeah, I do think I would kill him at this point. I do not think he would kill me. So that's worth saying. Meanwhile, a fight is breaking out. Again, a lot of, as you can see, attention on trying to kill the Mundo. The problem with that is, one, we don't have great tank killers, worth saying. Secondly, they've got a zillion. You're going to all in a Mundo, boom. Now, there was a choice here, and you can see my team was pinging, hey, go bot lane, get the inhib. I kind of felt like going for the Baron would be better, because Baron... The reason for it, for a couple of reasons. I missed my E because of Zillion slow. I want Nocturne to go in. I throw a ward, expecting Nocturne to ultimate, by the way. No ultimate. I honestly got very confused. I gave him the ward to ultimate into the pit. Doesn't attempt. Doesn't even press R. Because again, remember what Nocturne ultimate does? It causes so much confusion. And it can put the jungler off. It could put Mundo off and boom, Baron steal. So again, to a lot of people, they may be like, oh no, Baron, you know, going for that bottom inhib would have been good. The reason I didn't do it, basically, was Baron is a comeback mechanic. If we give them a free Baron, and as you guys have heard, I was already worried about their comp, If we give them the Baron, meanwhile the fight's breaking out, then they have a way to get back into the game. I really, really, really felt that we couldn't allow them to get Baron. Meanwhile, the fight was going okay, but the Caitlyn, as I mentioned, with her range advantage over the Ashe, could DPS at a safer range, and also it took ages to kill the Mundo, and they did kill the Zilean, or focused him, and he just altered himself. But like that is, so again, to the explanation, again, not an excuse if you're here for education. The educational reason why I did not go for that bottom inhib is because I legit, in my thought was like, we cannot allow them to get Baron with that team comp that's got great tower dive potential with an Alistar and a Mundo. Combine that with a Zilean, they're not going to die. I really genuinely thought we can't allow them to get Baron, and that's also why I was very confused why Nocturne just didn't. He didn't even attempt for a steal. Like, if he altered into the pit, Mundo got it. At least he tried. He didn't even try. So that really confused me. Again, we are on obviously not my main account. I do think if that was my main account, the Nocturne in Diamond 1, Diamond 2 would have definitely known he had to go for that. Diamond 4 is a bit different. But yeah, that is the thought process for those that might be like, okay, tell us why you didn't go for the inhib. That is why. They've got, I've said for ages, there is a thing called momentum in League of Legends. One of the highest momentum shifts in League of Legends is when a team gets Baron. Now, Nocturne again, second mistake in a row, goes for an Alistar. Let's be honest, everybody, why would there be an Alistar in the jungle alone at 30 minutes? The answer is he's not going to be alone in his jungle at 30 minutes. His team would be with him. But yeah, that is the honest answer when it comes to not allowing the Baron. So it's unfortunate. Again, I can't blame the Nocturne too much. Again, rating differences do exist. That's not being BM or anything. That's just experience and all that stuff added together. And when you look at their comp of how much tower pressure they have, dive tower they have, it's very scary with momentum. And Baron, as I mentioned, is one of the ultimate momentum shifters in the game. Now look, again, like I mentioned, look at what the Baron buff is giving this team comp. We cannot stop them. It's near impossible now to stop this comp. They have tower dive. They've got a Caitlyn with high range in the backline killing towers. They've got a Zarot Portal Yorick killing towers with his Maiden ultimate. And then on top of that, oh, we're nearly killing someone? Zilean ult. That's why we could not allow them to get Baron. And that, unfortunately, was one of the downfalls of this game so far. Now, unfortunately, and I do think this gives a good example of top lane so far in Season 9, is we did well in top lane, but we didn't snowball. I, as a top laner right now, if I'm honest, feel basically useless. You know, yes, I am playing a running champion, but this game, when you're kind of thinking what champion could make a difference right now who plays top lane, can anybody think of a champion that would make a difference right now? I don't think so. You know, if people call out Jax with Spear, they have a lot of CC, so not really. Like, I right now would struggle in, you know, who could I play in top lane? In the role of top lane right now, who could I play that would make a big difference of potentially, let's say, turning this game back around? And I generally don't think that pick exists. I really do not. Jungle, how would you do it? Go for the Baron steal. Bot lane, yeah, playing something that can hyper kill tanks, positioning well, sure. Mid lane looking for a pick on the Caitlyn. I can't do any of that stuff on Darius, right? Or top lane. That's the problem with it. So I get the blasting plant there just in case someone walks into us. They don't have the blast plant to escape. We are looking for maybe a pick or two. Alistar's in the bush. Don't think the killer's on considering how tanky the cow is. And again, the enemy team is so tanky. They've got, what, Mundo, Yorick, Alistar, with a Zilean, so revive if you manage to try and kill one of them. And then they've got Caitlyn, who early bought GA as well, by the way. So it's like, Jesus, they tanky A, like, crazy amounts. We do obviously have Bork builders this game. Nocturne's bought a Bork, Asher's bought a Bork. Hell, even I thought about it at one stage. It's sometimes just not enough. Again, not enough, because obviously to make Bork work, what do you need to do? Auto attack. What's really hard to do when the enemy team is full of CC? Auto attack. So we're trying to hold on here, looking for maybe something. We do a decent amount of damage. Leona did obviously have to use ultimate. Nocturne in the sides. Enemy team is getting low. Again, remember, some people like Mundo, you get him low. He's got a Warmogs, which is a very good item. He's going to revive up within a few seconds. Malzahar trying his best to obviously get rid of it. I get Eid, do get Kitty ghouled by the Yorick. And slowly, the enemy team is, you know, whittling away the tower. They do obviously have bot lane in Hib, so they're doing the classical. We got bot lane in Hib. Where's the next place to go? Top. It's the furthest point away. The advantage, I'd say, well, the good thing about that, we've got a Nocturne. He's obviously got ultimate that he can travel to top lane very quickly if needed, so that's not bad. But obviously, yeah, we are struggling now. The enemy team finally going for the all-in push and will break the tower, which again, what can we do? Malzahar a little bit low on the old health and, well, getting low. And I am maybe looking for the Mundo, but decide against it because, you know, didn't basically take any damage. Ashe uses arrow. I missed my E again. I would say very weird Ashe arrows this game. She uses them when there's no point. Remember the one near the dragon that she just did it randomly? So definitely there could have been better Ashe arrows throughout this game, using them at the right time. So that was one thing. But yeah, rough game so far. What we're looking for, again, is a potential big team fight. Maybe the enemy team overextends a bit too much and try to get picks on the right people. You know, their main damage, really, in theory, should be Caitlyn. But what can you do? Don't really know why Malzahar is pinging me and Leona. Maybe he's thinking, like, oh, they have to engage. Definitely not a Darius in this situation. I can't get close enough with the CC. I'm pinging his ultimate because that's actually most likely a better engage tool than me. Leona's probably the engage tool here, but yeah, Malzahar's not terrible at engaging, especially like, you know, his ult is a burn percentage health with the Liandry's Torment. So like that's practically our only way maybe of killing Mundo. But obviously that would also mean, you know, you're putting a lot of damage onto the Mundo, unfortunately, and then he could potentially get revived. So what I want to do this game, by the way, for the Remainer, is I want my team to hopefully deal with the Mundo, to deal with the tanks. I need to try and get to the Caitlyn. You know, that's the way that I'm thinking, is like, yeah, right, I can't do much this game, but I can technically, and I think I can, kill a relatively squishy AD carry. I think I can do that. If you're wondering, by the way, what item I'm looking to build, pretty sure I'm looking to build a Warmogs because of all like the in and out fights. We're getting poked out. If I get poked out, I can go back, then buy a Warmog revive. I think it's useful, as well as the enemy team doesn't have great tank killers either. Caitlyn's not a tank killing AD carry. Zillion's not a tank killing mid laner. So it's actually fairly effective to be high on health bar. So here comes the big fight. Do grab the Yorick. He is taking a bunch of damage. My passive's nearly up. Going to go for the Yorick all in to try and get the reset. Boom, we do get it. Now going to return to the Caitlyn, like I mentioned. We're doing a lot of damage. Do nearly kill her. Look how close it is of her GA popping. Alistair doing a pretty good job, though, of like protecting. And we're not doing bad. Nearly get a kill. We are getting Caitlyn ultimated. Zillion does come back into the fight. And what else could I do? I got the Yorick. Nearly take on both enemy bot laners. And so that means, in essence, I took care of the Yorick. I took care of the enemy bot lane that game. Did legit basically nothing the whole team fight. And we still only came out even in that fight. So that kind of says of how tanky, like, or how much it took to kill the Dr. Mundo. They obviously, I think, did kill the Zillion, but I think he used his ultimate on himself. But yeah, what else can we do? I think we actually played that relatively well. Nearly killing the Caitlyn. Needed one more auto attack and then the ultimate. We would have got the GA. Very close. And then, you know, as she revived, we might have been able to kill her, but the Alistair doing good protection. Enemy team now getting Elder Dragon, which I would say is probably now nearing the end of this game. You know, there are all the inhibs practically down, massive as super minions coming in. And the advantage of super minions, look at the farm. Malzahar's got over 300 farm. It's a lot of farm that you can get with all these minions flooding into your base. Now, I will say in the bottom left, the point that I was making shows how little top matters, lol. He can build a support. So, Yorick has built support this game. So, he's got a Zeropor, he's got a Locket, and he's got a Knight's Vow. This Yorick does not need to do any type of carrying to win this game, because that's top lane. It's not the role that cares about carrying right now. It is literally not needed. So again, when you hear top laners complaining, and I do say there are some obnoxious top lane mains that blow it out of proportion, but when a top laner can build us a support, it is a bit telling of how little top lane really matters at the moment. Yorick weirdly going for that player. Managed to get the reset really early, which is nice. Going to go for the Caitlyn now, who's in the middle of the team fight. Not engaging fully because you have to be careful. Now going for it. She's now stopped watching. Alistair getting rid of me. She will go down very soon. I'm trying to be in the middle of the team fight to be annoying. Get the enemy team in. Then, by the way, we killed Caitlyn twice. She had GA on the first death. And yes, she just got Zillion revived. And there you go. Can't kill him. Zillion. And again, would this mean, oh, Zillion's OP? No. Just, I don't know, the Malzahar didn't do a great job of shutting it down. And we needed a snowball this game, as I mentioned. The enemy comp was just scary in late game, and we didn't snowball. The Yorick denied me my snowball in top lane, which was smart. But yeah, annoying game. Does show top lane in a bit of a light at the moment, but that's just the way it goes. We go 565, 225 farm, and damage done. We'll open that momentarily. We do mediocre damage. Look at the difference. We do over 10,000 more damage to the Yorick. That does show a lot of difference in top lane. It just was irrelevant. I couldn't carry this game as top lane because top lane can't really carry right now. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy this POV commentary, please throw a like on the video, throw a subscribe. And I will say tomorrow's game on Shyvana, please do check that one out because I think a lot of you will have a great time watching it. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment down below. See you guys next time. Peace.